Hello everyone. Here it's still hot, and I don't know how long this heat will last. But the days are getting shorter, and I can feel the season changing. Even with all this heat, I knew summer was ending when I heard the bell crickets singing. I always wonder, how do insects know the season in this strange climate? They don't have human brains, yet somehow their sense of time endures, subtle, steady, and maybe even wider than ours. When I was young, I wasn't interested in vintage things like my grandmother used for gardening. Everything was brown, and I thought it looked old-fashioned. But now, I see how useful they are and how beautifully that brown fits into Japanese life. The colors don't stand out too much. The natural materials breathe well. They don't get too hot, and you can even repair them yourself. Plastic and metal are fine, but plastic fades in the sun, and metal can't always be fixed. I never thought I'd come to love these things so much. My grandmother used to say, "You always say you don't need it," or "If I give you something, you never use it." Back then, I wasn't attracted to vintage things, so I didn't care. We had a generation gap. What she loved, I didn't. And maybe if I had always said, "Yes, please," she might have teased me, "How greedy you are." Now it doesn't matter. I love these vintage and traditional items, and I've learned their value. I just wish I could talk with her again. I miss her strict words. She was strict, sometimes unreasonably so. I didn't always like her, but strangely, I never hated her. Sometimes she was kind. I liked her smile. When I lived in Tokyo, I visited her whenever I returned home. One day, she was in tears, begging me to come back, and I decided to. She was always worried about me. She'd say things like, "Tokyo will take everything from you. It's scary. You won't be able to handle it." Maybe she just couldn't let go of the image of the city she had in her mind from long ago. I couldn't stay in the city if it made her cry. My feelings for her are so complicated. Even I can't put them into words. But when I found the straw hat she probably used, I felt so happy. I promised to cherish it and carry on her spirit. I hope she's happy knowing I use her hat. It's been a few years since I came here. This house is my childhood dream come true. The front door, the white shoebox on the porch, the living room with big windows letting in sunlight, the clean and practical kitchen. Everything feels perfect to me, even though I usually prefer a gas stove. When I was 20, I loved pop-style decorations and longed for a cafe-style kitchen with tools and spices everywhere. Now I prefer simplicity. Vintage brown items just fit here. Somehow it's not always photogenic for my vlog. Lately, I'm more interested in traditional Japanese style houses than modern ones. I hope to have one someday for work. I didn't care much about my house before, but now I want it to be warm, full of Japanese patterns and designs, blending seamlessly with Western style. And even if I add new things, I'll keep taking care of what I already have. A lesson I learned from my grandmother's straw hat. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care until next time. and may each day bring you quiet joy and peace.